You have reached the voicemail box of...
The Beards and Sundries Market.
The voicemail box is currently...
empty.
To reach our loyal and devoted team members, please make sure to leave a message for a chance to hear your voice captured on the internet until the end of all time. Thank you.
Beardo.
And have the day you deserve.
And welcome back.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 15 of Beards and Sundries.
That's right, you guys and ghouls. It's time for another lunch break here at Beards and Sundries, the shop where three gay men with beards do inventory on a new sundry in each episode.
My name is Jay, and Biggie Smalls. I can't do it.
Thank God.
And I'm Anthony, the opposite of Slenderman.
And I'm Joe, and the Mothman isn't nearly as scary as y'all might think. And today's sundry items are our own favorite spooky stories. That's right, Beardos, we are deep in the throes of October, and today we are going to chat about some of our personal favorites. Later on, we have another one of our Beardos' horror or stories, and Jay has crafted a game that got our creative juices flowing all over the break room. But before we get too far into it, how about this week's voicemail?
Uh-oh.
We looked into the voicemail box, and all we found was a tree etched with the word Croatoan.
Oh, I just found cobwebs. They were so scary.
As many junk calls as both of my phones get now, why can't one of them just leave a voicemail? I would love to open with a spam message.
Right?
You know
That's
what you should do? Are you getting spam calls on the store phone?
Oh, for sure.
You should just play one of those at some point.
Honestly,
But I don't like record it.
Like when they leave the fake voicemail?
They don't
Like
leave the
when they leave an
voicemails
annoying
though.
voicemail? Oh, they don't? Sometimes they leave
No.
one.
Do you want me to leave one of
know.
the I'm a landlord in your area voicemails with you? Because I
could read out some of the junk texts I get. Hello, Sheila. I am purchasing homes in your area, and I'm curious.
Oh my god, I hate that one. That's the worst one.
Important details regarding your Amazon order. Click on this link that is definitely real.
Ooh. We're
Don't
trying
worry,
to deliver
it's not
something
a
to
phishing
you.
scheme.
Oh, God.
Did we just continue the adult horror stories? No.
No.
I think so.
We're not doing it again. Last week was a fucking no.
Although weirdly enough, we got complimented on that episode like twice. So
I'm sure because when we get really serious, we get compliments.
it's true.
Yeah. Yep. You guys like it whenever we're all sad.
You guys like it when we're real.
Real.
To be
real.
Let me just be a fake bitch and go.
Right? Come on. Anyways, Joe, can I find the Blair Witch in the sundries aisle?
Oh God, I hope so. She sounds hot.
Oh.
No, but you can find all the materials to make the little statuettes, the little sticks and twine and everything. It's right next to camping. But if you guys are new to the show and you're wondering what the hell a sundry is, the term comes from an old English word meaning odds and ends. Today it's used mainly in retail as a way to group together items that otherwise don't typically have a group of their own. So, as three gay men with beards who love spooky stories, we are using the term to group together the wide range of topics that we cover.
I also need you to know the Blair Witch Project freaked me the fuck out as a kid.
It scared the crap out of me too. 1999.
Yeah, and what were you, 25 then?
Oh my god. Yeah. Isn't it based off of like a real legend out of like Tennessee? The Bell Witch. That's what it's based off of.
I was like, it's based off of something. I just
It's
don't know
based off
what.
of the Bell Witch, and I'm certain it's Tennessee. Tennessee is the one that I was certain of. Now I'm certain of both. It is the Bell Witch out of Tennessee because of some family that moved out into this house and they started hearing noises and shit in the woods. And anyways,
it was also interesting in the movie how much effort the producers went through to actually make them get lost and start worrying.
Oh, I know, right? Producers
Yeah,
got
didn't
to
they,
be producing.
Keep them awake and make them like delirious and stuff.
Like, I feel bad because those people actually went a little. I think they had issues after filming that movie, and I'm like, man, that's
They're
nice.
like, we're gonna really do a Stanley Kubrick this go round.
Yeah, but I think wasn't it one of the cheapest movies ever made, like $275,000,
And it grossed a whole lot of money.
Yeah, so kudos to them. Smart. Yeah. You ruined some people's mental health, but sacrifices.
Do you guys want to dive into some of your favorite spooky stories?
Let's do it. And the first one I have is booking hotels for New York today. That's my spooky story.
Did you go to booking.com and get all the booking value?
There is no booking value in December, I've discovered.
What are you going for?
So I needed to burn some Delta credits, and I also get a companion pass with one of my credit cards. And so I was like, all right, one free ticket, and I have $250 off. So I'm just going to book a ticket and we go to New York because it's a direct flight. And that's what we did. And I didn't really look at hotel prices whenever I was booking this weekend. And now I'm not saving any money.
What about Airbnbs?
Also not saving any money. Check those out.
You should just sleep on John Riley's floor.
I could just sleep on his kitchen floor.
Yeah.
He did talk about meeting for coffee, and we are 2 blocks away from Times Square. So when he goes to work, we'll meet for coffee.
Well,
anyways,
I mean, that sounds horrible. I'm horrified.
It sounds
already.
like a lot of fun, and I'm very jealous.
It's a modern horror story, but I'm excited for the trip. We just needed something to... It's kind of like celebrating our birthdays because mine and his are pretty close together in November and December. Okay. So,
what weekend are you going?
8th through 10th.
Oh, okay.
So we're leaving bright and early the 8th and pretty decently late the 10th.
Nice.
Thank God for that hour change. So yes, I'm excited. I'm ready. This is my first time to New York.
I know.
Oh, nice. There's a lot of great food scenes there.
I'm so excited.
I've been one time, and it was in college. We went through New York City on the way to a game at the University of Connecticut, and they basically just let us loose, the entire marching band. They let us loose at 6 a.m. and said, be back at 6 p.m. Have fun.
Here's a big city full of tourists and dangers.
I don't know how all of us made it back to those buses, but,
that's impressive. I'm going to take a subway, guys. Oh, man. Okay, we should really dive in now.
Oh, yeah, we should probably actually tell our spooky story. So, who wants to go first?
I mean, I can. I seem to start these a lot.
Okay, well, let's do it in order of how we do our introductions. How about that?
Okay.
It's always a good default.
So I first chose a scary story that I was told many, many years ago from where I grew up. And apparently there's this random bridge, and I really don't even remember which bridge it is anymore. But there was this random bridge in my area of Kansas where back during the olden days, a woman and her baby were being chased to be murdered. And she reached this bridge. And to save her and her baby, she jumped off of it, but they ended up drowning.
Oh, no.
So now it's believed that the bridge is haunted. So you can drive your car onto the bridge. Don't worry, Anthony. I know. You can drive onto the bridge, turn your car off, and around midnight, you can listen for a crying baby. And if you hear that baby, you won't be able to restart your car. And first, a cold breeze will blow over you, and then a ghost of the mother will appear and to search you to see if you were the person that killed her and her baby, or she can also sense if you were a descendant. And if she didn't kill you, your car will magically start and you can drive off.
Tale as old as time.
Is it Theorosa's Bridge?
In Kansas?
Yes.
Ponderosa Bridge?
12 miles north of Wichita, the small town of Valley Center.
Okay. So I was not around Valley Center but I was around more southeast Wichita. But it's just, I guess what I'm getting at is this story. If you listen to ghost stories, even all over the place, there is some story that is the exact same as this, but different. There's always a different reason, always a different experience, but it's always over a bridge. Your car can't start, and some ghost comes and sees you.
I've heard this
It's always a
exact
car.
same story.
Something with a car.
Yeah, I've heard this exact same story. Actually, I've heard a variation of Bloody Mary that was very similar to this.
Yes, I think I heard it once as a similar Bloody Mary scenario. And so even as a kid, I was like, all these ghosts are scary, but I'm not really sure which one to be scared of because they all kind of mesh together.
I know.
It's like the princesses of Disney, but ghosts.
They all get together for Bloody Marys at brunch.
And then there's Olaf.
Yeah. That's the baby.
Yeah. I've heard so many different stories that are like that. And I don't understand what we have against bridges that we assume they are all haunted.
Well, and I grew up living by a bridge that was actually an old rock bridge built in the 1800s. And so I got terrified after that. I was like, well, this bridge is older than every bridge that I know, so this one has to be haunted. So it was a phase of I was scared of my own bridge at night.
Well, and the only scary thing about bridges is the infrastructure in this country. That's the scariest part.
That's the real scary part. And trolls.
That's the adult scary part.
I mean, the turnpike charges.
Oh, that's even scarier.
Yeah. I mean, if a troll jumped out, I'd be like, well, I have to pay you. But now it's just like the turnpike authority is like, well, you're just going to drive underneath this little thing. It scans your car and then you pay us.
Yeah. Trolls, fun, mythical, kind of scary. Holes, real, legitimate, actually scary.
Financially draining, overpriced.
The turnpike authority not using the money we pay them to patch said holes.
The turnpike authority keep raising prices.
Yeah, seriously.
I love an itemized receipt.
I mean, you can go look at their like financial statements at the beginning of the year. What do they?
I want a line by line analysis of every single dollar.
I want real transparency, not like here's an Excel spreadsheet that I typed up.
We can't get too back into real horror.
You know that curse that happens to Jim Carrey and Liar Liar? Do you know how amazing that would be if it happened to every politician?
Actually, I just want that to be like, I want every politician to get the curse from Drag Me to Hell.
Well, I mean, yeah. That one's afterward.
I mean, that's the one where they get dragged to hell. It's
dragged
right
to
in the
hell.
name.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, speaking of my bridge, do you guys remember that 93 movie, Dennis the Menace?
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So they were under that train bridge at one point when he was kidnapped by the bad guy.
And he really died and he's haunting that bridge now? Oh my God, I didn't know, Jay.
What a menace.
So, I'm now just like... I'm
There's
now
Casper
just having...
the Friendly Ghost and Dennis the Menace Ghost.
Dennis the Menace Ghost. But I just keep having flashbacks now. I was actually scared of that bridge at one point from that movie, too, because then I was scared that the bad guy lived under my bridge and was going to kidnap me.
And he did. And that's why you turned out like that.
Jay,
Yes!
I wish I had a book of chronicles about your beliefs from your younger years, because
I wish I kept track of them.
it is truly interesting what you bring to the break room every week.
That's true. You were scared of a lot of things, and yet you just climbed right on top of those chat piles.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? I was scared of a lot of nonsense, but the things I really should have been afraid of, I was just, I don't know, probably eating chat.
Nobody warned you about.
Yeah, the things adults should have cared about. They're just
Chop, chop,
okay,
chop.
Here, honey, chop, chop, chop. Eat this.
Chat, chat, chat.
Watch out for spooky ghosts. Here's some uranium.
Oh my God.
Ooh, yellow cake, my favorite.
No.
Well,
Well,
the
it wasn't
candles.
And it wasn't until as an adult that I realized that the bad guy on Dennis the Menace was, Christopher Lloyd? And so now I'd be like, Christopher Lloyd lives under my bridge! Ah!
So, if you guys are ready, do you guys want to hear a spooky story that I personally like?
No. And that's the end. So bye, guys.
Fucking asshole. So, anyways, Jay aside, fuck you. Go climb on a Go jump off a bridge with your baby.
My baby. I'm not going to say what I was about to say. It's going to sound bad.
Oh my God.
Let's go on.
So, I want to talk a little bit about a semi-local place called the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs. That is supposedly haunted. Joe and I have stayed there and also gone through the ghost tour there. So we've kind of gotten away from like research and reading stuff off for you guys, but I want you to know a little bit about the history of the Crescent Hotel and why it's haunted. And that starts with a man named Norman Baker. So Norman Baker allegedly learned of a cure for cancer in the late 1920s. And in 1930, set out on a misinformation campaign against the American Medical Association, as well as establishing a hospital in Muscatine, Iowa. Sound familiar?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So things went south for Baker relatively fast in 1931 when the Iowa Supreme Court sustained an injunction against the hospital. Fun fact, after this, Baker ran away to Mexico, where he would stay until 1937, only to return to Muscatine to serve 1 day in prison and pay a $50 fine that he appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court unsuccessfully.
Jay, are you thinking what I'm thinking? He
Absolutely.
got kicked right in the muscadines.
The Muscadines.
And then he had some muscadine wine afterwards.
To put a little bit of that
Bandero
into
onion.
perspective, the hospital was purported to have brought in up to $100,000 a day.
A day?
Or not a day. Wait. No, a month. Sorry. Oh, my bad.
Still, though.
Excited. Still, this is
in
1930.
What year? Yeah.
1930. This is
Wow.
between 1930 and 1931 when the injunction went through.
Wow.
So between 1931 and 1937, Baker lived in Mexico, where he set up a radio station to continue to air his misinformation. Now, obviously 1937, he comes back to the U.S. He does his time, his 1 night in jail for all the misinformation he spread and the $50 that he owed for contempt of court, not even like anything else. So in the same year that he returned from his long stint in Muscatine and his financially catastrophic fine, Baker purchased the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and established the Baker Cancer Hospital. His primary treatments for cancer? Injections with extracts of watermelon seeds, corn silk, and clover, amongst other things. They purported no surgeries. They purported no organ removals. They purported no x-rays. They didn't even have microscopes on site.
So medical fraud's been around since the beginning of time.
I mean, you used to have doctors without a license come to your house, so.
Well, so that was part of it, was that
We really live in a country, huh?
Baker would say that the way he actually said it was like MD stood for more dough, and that was a saying that he had.
I think that saying is still alive and well today.
So
But
anyways,
go on.
he's got this miracle cancer cure. Obviously, watermelon seeds, clover, and corn silk are a miracle cure. We all know that today. So as you know, many of his patients, well, they recovered promptly and they went on to live long and prosperous lives. Just kidding. They died.
There
So-
we go. Yeah.
Most of his patients died, and the hospital set up a makeshift morgue in the basement of the hotel, which you can actually go there on a tour to this very day, in a room that they had this sliding door and they pile bodies in. But don't use flash photography, or you might make a boomer who's on the tour with you upset. The guide encouraged us to do it, Karen.
I'm just over here like, how do you extract watermelon seed oil?
I'm sure through honestly, he probably had a Vitamix.
No, he had a like a little washboard, but he had the little watermelon seeds, and he was just
Yeah.
chop, chop, chop.
He's just in there, like, pushing the button on his Vitamix. It makes nut butters.
Have you guys tried this? Bzzz. Have you tried it? Bzzz. Except
The magic
it was
bullet.
plugged into the ceiling because that is where you used to plug things in.
Oh my god, that's true though. So all of this went on until 1940, when Baker was brought to justice for his snake oil treatments and lying about, his snake oil treatments and disseminating medical propaganda to the public for his own profit. Sorry, this is also not true. Baker was actually finally prosecuted for mail fraud and spent 4 years in prison.
Oh, 4.
Mail fraud?
Mail fraud. The fraud? He simply pretended to be patients who had already passed, sending correspondence back and forth to their families, suggesting that they were getting better and that they just needed to continue to send money for more treatment, as well as
so
room and
he's in a
board.
special part of hell.
Is this
yeah.
George Santos's like great grandfather?
Yeah, I would fucking believe it. He only went to jail for 4 years for this. People died.
Yeah, but back then we didn't, value life as much because
We
it
don't
was the
value it
30s.
now.
Life- we don't
God.
What are you
value it
talking
now,
about?
okay.
Of course we value it now
We
if you're
just
rich.
went through COVID. This is actually part of why I picked
If
this
you're
is because can you
rich.
just see the parallels here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the hotel is supposed to be haunted by ghosts of the patients that Baker and his staff killed. I just wish that some of the ghosts would haunt Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish they would all haunt him.
So that is the story of how the Crescent came to be supposedly haunted, Beardos. Joe and I have actually stayed there and gone on the ghost tour, and you should definitely do that at some point in your life. One, because
pretty
Eureka
cool.
Springs is a beautiful place to visit, and two, because
Mhm.
the Crescent is unique in its history. And it's very
Unique?
history because it's been around since 1887, I want to say.
I think that's right. Either that, it's like 1880 something. It might be 1886.
Yeah, one of those two, somewhere in that
Yeah.
area. So my history is muddy. I did a little bit of research someday.
And it so it goes that if you bring watermelon seeds into this place, you'll die.
Ah, yes. Right. So all of the kitchen staff die
the
every
address again?
summer.
Anthony's just in there with like a rind. He's like going,
Come on!
So 2 fun facts about this. One, Joe and I stayed in a room in the Crescent right where the ghost tour passed by. So they would stop by our door every time and people would like lean on our door while
And
they
they'd
were
hear
listening
moaning
to the ghost
inside?
tour. Yeah, we were getting it on.
oh
with,
my god, there's ghosts in
with-
there, and you're like, oh, mac and
Oh,
cheese.
Oh, my ectoplasm.
Actually, what we were moaning about was the pizza place that's on the top level of the Crescent.
Oh.
You should definitely get pizza from there. It's really fucking good. The Pizza Beyonce. I don't know what it's really called, but that's what we call it.
Oh yeah, get that pizza in
Bianca.
there.
Yeah, sure. Bianca, Beyonce, same difference.
Pizza Beyonce.
Yeah. So when the ghost tour would come by and they would get up against the door, I'd press the door because it's an old hotel, so it would creak really loud. And I cannot tell you how many people I got to like jump and turn around because I was looking through the peephole.
Glory hole? Oh, peephole. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
right. That's it. Yeah. To jump and turn around and put their dick in my mouth. I mean, dick in my butt. I mean,
And you're like, oh, it's a spooky ghost.
Ooh, the ectoplasm. So,
Jesus.
anyways, that is a fun story about a place called the Crescent Hotel. You guys should definitely go there because it's spooky and haunted.
And you get a spooky glory hole.
And the Pizza Beyonce.
This pizza's fabulous. All the single ladies.
It's the queen bee of pizzas.
Ooh. It's unique.
Oh my. Anyways, Joe.
So, My spooky tale is from my home state, West Virginia, and it is the mythical creature Mothman, as I mentioned in my intro. So, in West Virginia folklore, the Mothman is a humanoid creature reportedly seen in the Point Pleasant area in November 19th, 1966. That was the first reported sighting. So, basically, on that night, two young couples from Point Pleasant were driving around and they stumbled upon a creature that they described as a large white creature whose eyes glowed red and stood about 7 feet tall at the side of the road near a site of a former World War II munitions plant. So basically, they saw the creature, they drove away at a high speed, and they went right to the police, and they said that the creature flew after their car, making a screeching sound, and it pursued them as far as the Point Pleasant city limits.
Sounds like a
Now,
pterodactyl.
Yeah, if you think about it, and some of the images that have been kind of put together after, what they said they saw, I think they might have been partaking in a little bit of substance and having a little bit of fun because they're describing an owl. And so a lot of cryptozoologists have said that they are seeing like a larger species of owl that may have maybe flown a little bit out of its environment, or they had been exaggerating what they actually did saw. It could have been a big barn owl. It could have been its eyes could have glowed red from the headlights from the car. So a lot of modern mythologists and zoologists have kind of discredited this a little bit because they think they just saw a large owl.
Or
basically.
Katya.
Or Katya, yeah.
Or Lady Gaga.
It's
Yes.
Lady Gaga.
Oh, sorry. Lady Gaga.
But so then Mothman kind of made his way into more of like popular culture. A lot of other people reported similar sightings after the newspapers reported it. Surprise. Two volunteer firemen who saw it said it was like a large bird with red eyes. Again, maybe like an owl. Mason County Sheriff George Johnson commented that he believed the sightings were due to an unusually large heron he termed a shite poke. Really creative there. And then
I've done that before.
Contractor Newell Partridge told Johnson that when he aimed a flashlight at a creature in a nearby field, its eyes glowed like bicycle reflectors, a large red circle as well. Additionally, he blamed buzzing noises from his television set and the disappearance of his German Shepherd dog on the creature. So, again, attributing to a moth with the buzzing noise.
Okay.
So basically, it kind of, turned into like a fun, urban myth. People made like radio stories about it. It even made it into some comics. The origin of the killer moth was a Batman comic series issue. And then it also went on to make a festival. It's very popular still in the area today. There was a movie created because of it. There's a statue that's actually in the town square in Point Pleasant. And if you look at the back of the statue, it has a dumpy, if you will. It's got a huge,
fat
big
ass.
moth ass.
Yep.
So that's the legend of Mothman from Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
From the 2002 cult classic, The Mothman Prophecies, with Richard Gere, Deborah Messing, Laura Linney, and Will
Deborah
Patton.
Messing.
Deborah Messing.
Deborah Messing. She was the wife at the beginning. She was like, the Mothman, and then ran the car into the tree.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But she also had brain cancer, so.
Yeah, things like that. Mothman, it's kind of one that's made up. What do you guys think about Slenderman?
I love Slenderman because the origins of Slenderman lie in completely rational, Photoshop contest that happened. So you can track it all the way back to its legitimate beginnings from someone who created it. And then it took off and spiraled and snowballed into this thing that has had literal murders surrounding it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Teenagers murdering each other, ritualistic sacrifice.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been there.
From Creepypasta.
Yeah, it was a creepypasta, which, teenagers who are going to ritualistically sacrifice somebody will find a reason to do it. Whether it be I don't know, Slenderman, Mothman, or, I don't know, the acceptance of their peers.
Yep. Everyone craves
The
that.
things I would sacrifice for acceptance.
Right.
The things I would do for a Klondike bar.
Would you kill a guy?
If creepypasta said to.
Laura Bush killed a man.
But I will say, there is a Slenderman video game that was adapted that was like the 7 pages of Slenderman or something like that is fucking intense and very hard to play. And this comes from a person who played Outlast in the dark all the way through. And I don't know that Jay is familiar with Outlast. Joe, do you know what Outlast is?
I remember you playing it, and I don't remember the premise, but I do remember you kind of struggled.
You don't have weapons. There's a lot of haunted stuff. It can kill you. You just have a video camera that has a light and limited batteries, and you have to keep finding batteries and managing that resource. There was a lot going on in that game, Beardos, but if you want to be scared, it's a good way to go. So another something that is very not too dissimilar from that I wanted to talk about, out of the realm of cryptids and out of the realm of earthly problems, is UFOs and extraterrestrials, because they make their way into Spooky Month as well.
That's funny because that's actually the other item I wanted to talk about.
I didn't think about it until right before Joe and I were talking before we started recording. And UFOs was something I was always scared of as a kid. And still like is one of those spooky things. And we've kind of confirmed that they're real, but we don't know what they are.
It's funny.
It's almost like they're unidentified.
I don't I don't actually find them scary right now. And it's funny because when movies and TV shows use aliens, so far, it just doesn't scare me. A lot of times I'll kind of write off the show if they use aliens to try and explain things, because I'm just like, whatever. But in real life, like knowing about these UFOs that we've discovered and that's been secret for so long, it almost just excites me, because I'm like, whatever happens, I'm curious. Like, what is out there?
That makes sense. When I was a kid, we were on our way home from church, and I was in first grade. And I lived with my great grandma and great grandpa at the time. And there was this vehicle behind us, and I'll never forget it because.
You were in the back of the van?
No, I was in the back of the Chevy Celebrity.
Ooh.
But anyways, we see this car that we think is behind us, these lights, and then they go up and like come up and crest this hill, and then they just keep going into the sky. This is how I remember it. And the only reason I remember it so distinctly is because my great grandma and great grandpa stopped the car to get out and look and see what was happening.
Whoa.
And
that would be seared in my memory. Yeah.
So that stuck with me for years and years and years, because that was something that it wasn't just me experiencing. I saw it, my sister saw it, and my great grandparents saw it. And to the point that we had to stop the car and like look, basically. And I was terrified. But at 6 years old, who wouldn't be?
So I can't remember experiencing anything like that.
I mean, it makes sense in rural Oklahoma. UFOs.
I mean,
cornfields, crops, cows.
There were no cornfields out there. We didn't have that. We had dirt. Hay.
Oh. Hey.
Clay.
There was one time I do remember being so panicked because my sister and I were playing outside and we heard it was kind of like this woo noise that like flew over us and mortified me. I was like, oh my God, UFO. And I sprinted into my grandma's house and I slammed the door, and my sister came in. She's like, what the hell's wrong with you? And I'm pretty positive that we were playing on my grandparents' horse trailer. Thank God. And we were playing on my grandparents' horse trailer, and I'm pretty positive that she literally just opened a door and that was the hinge squeaking.
Oh my God.
But as a kid, mortified me. I knew that UFO just flew over us.
So that sounded exactly like the sound effect from a UFO in Mars Attacks.
Which probably came out roughly at that time.
Really?
And so, I don't know.
Wow.
When did Mars
As a
Attacks come
child?
out?
98, I think.
Oh, no, it would have been before that. So, okay, well, I just was pre-hearing the sound of UFOs from Mars Attacks, which I'm glad you brought up that movie because I just watched it a few months ago. It is awful.
Oh, obviously it's awful.
I do not know why I liked it as a kid. It is awful. It was hard to get through.
Colorful, and there was a lot of nonsense in it. That's why you
It
liked
was
it as a kid.
so much nonsense, but oh
Yeah.
my god, it's cringe.
And Annette Bening. Every kid likes Annette Bening.
But even as a grown-ass adult with a stupid movie, I did love the one alien that wore the really pretty dress and she like swooped in and was like
Oh, yeah.
trying to get
And
into
she
the
had,
White
like,
House
a
or
giant,
something.
like, beehive.
Hair. Yes.
Yep.
Loved her.
Anyways, outside of your fat ass, do you guys think it's time for a commercial?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good time for commercial.
And now, for a word from our sponsor, Spooky Hunters presents Bridge Ghosts.
This Halloween.
My name is Zachary Daggins, and I'm a spookyologist.
On the Longtime Channel.
Oh my god, did you see that?
Witness the true things we should fear.
My car won't start, man. We gotta get out of here.
Bridge ghosts.
There she is!
Ooh, I'm a spooky generic female ghost looking to kill you based on the local fable you were told.
This Halloween, follow Zach and his ill-prepared crew to search for the ghost under the bridges that haunt Jay's dreams every night.
Wait, shh. Did you hear that?
Be prepared for a 2-hour special that will likely end up mostly filled with product placements and disappointment.
Yeah, we've been doing this show for 18 years now, and we couldn't be more thankful that we've been sponsored all 18 years by ManPon. And that our viewers haven't given up, even though it's been 18 years with no real ghost sightings.
So tune in October 31st on the Longtime Channel for Spooky Hunters presents Bridge Ghosts. If you dare.
Hey guys, make sure you follow and subscribe to our podcast so you can receive a notification every Sunday when a new episode drops.
Those bridge ghosts, they mean fucking business. They're all mad about something. Don't die on a bridge, beardos. It sounds
Yeah,
like
don't
a
die on a bridge.
terrible idea.
Just sounds like a bunch
Or
of
off a
Karens
bridge.
down there.
Or buy a bridge. Don't
Just
die near bridges.
Stay away from bridges.
And Jeff Bridges.
And in Oklahoma, it's very unfortunate because you could easily die near a bridge because our infrastructure is so terrible.
Woo! Our tax dollars go to subsidize large businesses. Oil and gas dominate our economy.
Or they go to paying for religious charter schools.
Ooh! The separation of church and state doesn't exist, and it's a myth.
I'm saying something scary in this voice. Ooh.
Herpes.
Wow. Lazy work, Joe. Lazy work.
Ooh.
Joe can't be bothered to think of anything smart.
Ooh, my gas tank has 11 miles left and I'm 13 from a gas station. Ooh.
It'll be okay because the sensor isn't real.
The treading on my tire is lower than Lincoln's head, and I should probably change them. Ooh!
Is that the real measurement? I thought it was like a quarter thing. Like,
Oh,
you
I
had
thought
to
it was
be
a
like-
penny or something.
I don't know. Who fucking knows?
Why didn't you
Anyways,
ask this last fucking week in your question?
I didn't ask or make that one of my questions when you were like, everything's subjective.
Oh
And
my
it was
god,
all
I
like,
laughed
oh my
so
God.
hard at that because I was like, oh, Anthony's getting so pissed. And I'm just like, technically.
You are technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. Anyways, Jay, do we have any Beardo submitted sundries? Let's get the
Guys.
fuck out of this.
We do have quite a few, and I'm going to start with our first email from George and Anthony.
Hi, George.
Hi, George
Anthony.
and Anthony.
And Anthony.
And it came directly from George, and he goes, "Hi, I feel so bad for Anthony. I recently had to deal with a hemorrhoid that I think turned into a fissure. It was
Ooh.
the worst pain I had ever experienced. I tried the wipes and pads and creams. Nothing worked. The only thing that helped me was unscented baby wipes with aloe and tea tree oil. It numbed and it helped heal things."
Huh. Good to know. Yeah, write it down, Joe.
Baby wipes, unscented tea tree oil.
That's
Okay.
right, Anthony. Apply it right now. No, I'm kidding. I know you
Hemorrhoid
said
on.
Applied directly to the butt.
hemorrhoid.
I know you said the episode was a little heavy, but it was really good. There are so many things that make adulting suck so bad. Bills, home repair and maintenance, vehicle maintenance. Ugh. Plus, you finally won a game. Congratulations. You're such an adult and such a daddy.
That he bitched about the whole time.
But I won. So anyways, and tell Joe we're total sluts for detergent. We use the pods, and I usually use 2 for large-ish loads. Aha, load. And we use liquid fabric softener and sheets. Anyways, sorry I haven't written in a bit. The weeks get away, and it seems like before I know it, we're watching the next episode. I think I copied that wrong. But I'll wrap up my ramblings. Talk to you again soon. Big hugs, George and Anthony.
George, I also use 2 pods to produce big loads. I'm talking about my balls.
Yeah, it's just a bad joke.
So, fun fact about laundry pods: when that whole thing was going on a few years ago with all the teenagers, they were eating Tide Pods for
God,
clout.
they're so good.
There was a donut shop here in Tulsa called Hertz Donuts, and they made a special donut for a couple weeks, and it was a jelly-filled donut. And on the top, they decorated it with white icing with swirly purple and green designs that looked like a Tide Pod, and they called it Forbidden Fruit.
I remember seeing pictures of that.
Yeah.
Also, I was exchanging emails with them, making sure that they wanted me to read the email on the episode, and they confirmed. And George also said that he's glad we've started and kept this podcast going.
Oh, yay. It's for beardos like you that we do this every week.
It's true.
Yeah.
The people that we've really gained like regular conversations with, I just look forward to it now every week. So I'm
Yeah,
just like,
it's really nice.
This has been a lot of fun. It's worth it.
Yeah.
And then Derek sent us an email. Derek with the good
Hi,
beard.
Derek.
Hey, Derek. Oh, excuse me. Hey, Daddy Derek.
Oh, bad boy. Congrats on creating the scariest episode ever. All of the things that you talk about in this pod, health issues, financial security, political craziness, is so scary because it's true and real.
God, I know.
And battles that we find ourselves fighting every day. The only saving grace on the entire episode is that Jay won a game.
Is it
All
really?
of the rooting I have been doing for you finally paid off. And I'm so glad that 2 emails came about being proud of me. And I'm
It's-
going to send these to my mom.
It's only taken a year and 4 months for it to happen.
There was a part of the episode that brought back a past memory. My very first email to the pod was for Bring It to Ring It. The WD-40 banter brought back memories because items were a large eggplant, an R. Kelly CD, and of course, WD-40. Have a good week, Derek with the good beard.
Thanks, Daddy.
So we're going to make eggplant parmesan while we fix Anthony's creaky office chair, and we're going to listen to the sensual sounds of R. Kelly while we do it.
It's the remix to Ignition, hot
Go
and
on.
fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here. That's the sensual version, right? Like that's what we're doing.
Anyways, we also got a message on Instagram from Mike, and he asked, is there an episode where you all talk about how you all became friends? I'd also love an episode on Joe and Anthony's meet. I'd also,
Our
sorry,
meats.
I copied and pasted this one. And I think I skimmed over it. Hold on, let me read this one more time. I also love an episode on Joe and
Please
Anthony's.
start at the beginning when you do.
Yeah, I will.
Please don't. Please start at meat.
He always starts at the meat.
Haha. Me too, baby.
I think he was trying to say on Joe and Anthony's meet clear till now.
So there should be a hyphen or an ellipsis.
He wrote it as meet cute to now. And I think I definitely was just skimming really fast over that whenever I read it the first time. Because I just responded, I said, oh, I'll bring it up, but it's scattered
Maybe
around.
he meant like meeting till now, like how we met, and then.
And so I'm
what
like
we-
a
I think
meet
I'm gonna
cute.
I think I think I'm just gonna write that so I don't stumble over it. I'd also love an episode on Joe and Anthony's meet. On Joe and Anthony meeting until now. Clear till now. Joe and Anthony.
He means
meeting
mute cute like in a movie.
until now. There we go. Mike asked on Instagram, is there an episode where you all talk about how you all become friends? I'd also love an episode on Joe and Anthony meeting up until now. And this question might also be a little too personal, but after listening to the latest episode, what are your all thoughts on open relationships? I only ask because Joe and Anthony mentioned they're on prep.
So I think the first question is the first episode. Is that when we talk about that?
Did we? I think we kind of did.
I think we talked about it. We've talked about it a few different
We've kind
times
of
in the podcast.
peppered it
Mike.
in a couple different times.
So, and that's kind of what I responded. I said, we'll talk about this more on the episode, but I can tell you that throughout the year, throughout the podcast so far, it's really just peppered a lot into our conversations. But I don't know if we've had a full blown, like, this is how it all happened.
That's true. We haven't had like a play-by-play, blow-by-blow, 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 and blow-by-blow me.
And blow on
And-
me. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
blow on my baloney.
We could do an episode, Mike, of how Joe and I met up until now, but we would have to have Jay as sort of like an officiant
third
to
wheel.
ask us questions about our relationship up until now.
Or we could even open next season with the About Me. Sorry, we're late, guys, but here's...
We
Us.
could do that. Yeah.
Welcome to season 4. Here's all about us.
Welcome to season 4. Now that you've heard all the weird stuff about us, here's how we met.
After you know about my hemorrhoids, here are the basics.
I'm a Sagittarius. I like long walks on the beach and
Oh my God. I'm a Scorpio. I don't like anything.
Yeah, we know. Bitch.
Bitch. Anyways, thoughts on open relationships, A+. I mean, I'll say it, Joe and I are in an open relationship.
Communication is key. As
Yeah.
in any relationship, communicate with each other.
Yeah. And if you are actively in an open relationship, we do recommend being on PrEP because PrEP will help reduce the spread of HIV, which shouldn't have any stigma around it, but you should still do your part to help eradicate the virus over time. You know?
Protect others, but first and foremost, protect yourself. At the end of the day, just like RuPaul said, if you don't love yourself, how the hell is anybody else going to love you?
Yeah. So
Is that right? How the hell are you
yeah,
gonna
something
love
like
somebody
that.
else?
Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're old.
Something
Anyways.
similar.
Sure.
How the hell are you going to love anybody else?
And
I think that's what it is.
That's what it
I
is.
support people in open relationships. I don't think it works for me, but if I ever come across a situation one day where it would, then so be it. But I support people that do it.
Yeah.
We tried it
used
once
to not be
before
a
and it
thing
didn't
for us.
work.
I just know that I have this problem where I'm going to pick a favorite. And so I'm like, let's just not risk it. And I'll just stick to one. And they're stuck with me. And
Well, there's a difference between being open and being poly.
ooh,
Right.
that's a really good point.
Yep.
Because, like, you can be open and not be looking for a relationship outside of the person that you have. And then there's polyamory, which is I love multiple people. Like,
Yeah.
there's a difference there, but I support both of them because every person is different. Everything is a little bit of a spectrum. We are in an open relationship. Like, it's just, yeah, that's, yeah.
Anyways, that's our result on that.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
there you
Mike.
go, Mike.
If you have any additional questions, ask.
Yeah. pay attention for an actual episode where maybe we'll talk about this.
Yeah, maybe so. Who knows?
Thanks for giving us the opener to next season.
Right. Anyways, do we have additional sundries?
We are out of additional sundries, and now I'm ready to move on to
The Beards and Sundries horror stories?
yes.
Oh.
Yes. Deep in the bowels of aisle 4, when the only light is the crimson glow of the emergency exit sign, gather round the boat box and prepare yourself for Beards and Sundries horror stories.
Our first one comes from Jason, and he said, "Back when I was but a wee lad, 20, I finally figured out how to hook up with guys. But I was still young and stupid, and I'm Kansas trailer trash, so I was chasing
Aren't we all?
all the wrong men. I meet this guy and go back to his place, a dump, and he's very enthusiastic about blowing me. He looks up at me and says, 'Do you mind if I do a line?' I have no idea what that means, but assume it's a sex thing. And in a way, it was. He pulled out a little baggie of white powder and snorted it off my dick. And I sort of realized that I was out of my depth as a kid that couldn't even buy beer yet. I swore never to have sketchy sex with strangers again, and my oath lasted about a month."
I knew it.
Wow.
Jason, as someone who's never had a Coke snorted off their dick, I'm a little jealous. Just a little bit. Just a smidge.
Just, maybe you should tell us what it's like. Just, I haven't experienced that.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it's a
I highly
power
doubt I
move.
will.
Like, somebody snorting Coke off your dick is like, yeah, you're getting fucked up, and then you're going to get fucked.
Sorry, I just imagine him, literally flipping up his lip and running his gums on.
Yeah, give me a gum job.
Yeah,
Give me them gummy bears.
Yeah. Gonna give you the harmonica.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So, anyway.
Well, Jason, good for you. You
Yeah,
lasted
great.
longer than I would have.
Thanks for that.
And his name was Jay.
The next one is from Anonymous.
Ooh.
He titled
Ooh.
this one, "The Daddy Dick Trap."
Oh.
Back in my baby gay college days, there was a bathhouse right next to my campus. As a budding homosexual whore, I would frequent the bathhouse on many a weekend evenings. On one particular autumn Friday evening, I decided to go a bit earlier than normal. As I roamed the dark halls, I realized the crowd was a bit older than what I had experienced in the later hours. I decided to post myself in the porn gallery area. Quickly, a pretty handsome dad made it clear he wanted me to work on him, so I gladly obliged. As I was slobbing some dad knob, I spied another dad in the corner watching and jerking to us. I motioned him over. At this point, I was on all fours on the riser-type seating, sucking one dad while the other dad decided to mount me. I was, in essence, a daddy dick trap, a la Chinese finger trap.
Oh my God.
The area had become quite dark as the porn on the screens had ended and whatever bathhouse attendant had failed to restart it. Within very little time, both men were close to climaxing. Ironically enough, the porn started again and lit up the room. Both men climaxed and filled me with their Krispy Kreme donut. As the both pulled out, I heard one state, "Dan?" As the other replied, "Brandon?" The two then go into a full-blown conversation / realization. From what I could glean From what I could glean, both men were straight, quote unquote, and married to women. They knew each other because they both had sons on the same high school football team, which they were both conveniently skipping to cruise for some dick.
Holy shit.
All this was going on as I was still awkwardly on all fours, dripping from both ends. I slowly rolled off the riser seating, grabbed my towel, and scurried away. Though, at the time I felt awkward, I'd like to think now that I was a matchmaker of sorts for two closet dads.
Oh, good for them.
Aw, love at first bathhouse. Probably not their first bathhouse, but anyways.
That's an enviable position to be between two dads who are straight.
Yeah, they're as straight as a slinky.
Yeah, sounds nice.
I'm so weird
Good for
because
you,
I know
Anonymous.
I would have been in such a weird position. I'd be like, you guys know each other? Oh my god, how sweet. And then I would have made it real awkward, like, I hope you get together.
I'd have been like,
As you're
I hope
wiping
you
your
fuck
mouth.
each other later. If you need to do me from both ends again, here's my number.
Yeah,
and
here's my number. If you
address and my
guys
email
back in
address.
town,
Here's all my socials.
here's my class schedule.
Let's get on
A
that
list of all my
riser type
fears.
seating and glean away.
Glean away. And we have one more this week.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Hat trick.
Another anonymous.
Ooh.
One night after coming home from the bars during a time when the online apps first became popular, I was still wound up because I did not find any magic at the bars that night. I came home, logged into the apps, and started browsing for Mr. Right Now. I quickly made a connection with someone that had a faceless profile, but very nice stats. We chatted for about 30 minutes, exchanged photos, and created quite a connection. He was starting to explore and was curious about the magic that only man can provide. He wanted to start out with some rubs and sucks, but he was not interested in anything else at this point since he was still a virgin. He really wanted to feel a man's wand in his mouth for the first time. He mentioned that he was waiting for his girlfriend to leave for work for the night shift at the hospital, and then recommended that I come over to their place because he couldn't really leave the house. She finally left around 1 a.m., and I drove to his house, questioning if I made the right decision, and texted him when I'm about 5 minutes out. He suggested that I park a block away and walk to the back of the house because he didn't want to alert the neighbors with a strange car in the driveway. I coasted to a stop with the car lights off, followed his directions to the back of the house, and met him next to a temporary storage unit, similar to a pod. I was relieved that he looked even better than his photo, but was still questioning my decisions because I had no idea what was inside this pod. He ushered me into the pod, and I was pleasantly surprised that he had converted this to his man cave. We sat down on an old couch and a 13-inch black and white TV. He was watching content, and we talked over for a bit before we proceeded to make the magic happen. As we started going at it, the making out led to rubbing of our wands, which led to sucking our wands, which led to him begging me to hide my wand in other places.
What?
Although he claimed he had never done that trick before, my wand disappeared quite easily and was apparently hitting all of his right spots. At some point during this magic trick, I grabbed his ankle, and that was when I noticed that he was wearing an ankle monitor.
Yes! Yes!
The wand hiding trick was so good that I continued to plow through it and not let this device interrupt my vibe. He finished with a big explosion, and I eagerly made my own explosion disappear down his throat. I recall thinking, virgin my ass, as we lay on the old soiled couch, catching our breath.
But not his ass.
By this time, it was close to 4 a.m. in the morning, and I was spent and tired. I remember thinking that I had all of this anxiety for no reason because that session was one of the hottest ever. That is when he got a text and his face turned ghost white. The text was his fiancée. Apparently, she had gotten promoted from girlfriend at some point during the night. She was coming back home because they did not need her at the job that night. I popped up, slipped on my pants and shoes, and sprinted back to my car with the rest of my clothes in hand. Just as I had gotten back in my car, the fiancé was pulling up into the driveway. I remember driving home thinking about the crazy night I just had. Fucking an engaged closeted guy who was a virgin, allegedly, under house arrest, in a storage unit, and finishing just before his fiancée was about to roll up.
Little rule of thumb. Straight guys, great bottoms. They're really great at bottoming. I don't know why, but...
There's a lot to unpack there.
It's because
Yeah,
they don't know
there's a
what they're
lot going
doing.
it just goes right in.
4 a.m.? Oof.
Also, right? 4 a.m.? Who has time to be up at that point?
I know, whenever I read 4 a.m., my brain was just like, that's it, I'm shutting down. I can't even imagine that time. I can't imagine that time as I'm still awake at that time. I can imagine that time after waking up because I do it pretty regularly these days.
Not a still awake, though. Ooh, I'm tired right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 9 p.m. and I'm exhausted.
I know. Well, good for you, Anonymous. That sounds exciting. Because, I mean, I guess I've had encounters not quite like that, though. No ankle monitors.
Well, Beardos, if you think you can top those 3 cautionary tales with your own Halloween horror or stories, feel free to type them out however you feel and send them to us at beardsandsundries@gmail.com. Well, moving on from those horror or stories, does anybody have something to check out this week?
I do. So normally we would give you something to check out in the way of like a podcast or something else, but since it's spooky month, I'm going to give you guys a movie recommendation since I consider myself a bit of a horror buff. This spooky season, you guys should check out Evil Dead Rise. That is the newest sequel to the Evil Dead remake from 2013. It is incredibly scary. I watch horror movies all the time. This movie made me tense. It made me cringe. It made me actually factually scared. It is currently streaming on Max, so you can find it there. 100% recommend. Also 100% recommend that if you have kids, for whatever crazy reason you would make that decision, don't watch it with them because
Make them watch
there's a
it.
scene with a cheese grater, and I won't go into it further. The acting is superb. The scares is superb. It is an hour and 45-ish minutes of straight up anxiety, and it is so good. For a classic horror movie brought into the current age, that's what I recommend. And Jay, you were going to say something.
Take a gummy and watch it.
Yeah. I mean, stress a little bit more or don't.
Or don't,
Whichever one
depending
you
on
take.
whatever it does for you.
So yeah, you need to watch Evil Dead Rise. It is on Max, not HBO Max, just Max. Peacock, waiting on you guys to make the change to your name too.
Ooh, what's this supposed to change to?
Cock.
Ah, thank God. Because I don't like pee in front of my cock.
Shut up.
God damn it.
Well, thanks,
Oh
Anthony.
my
That
God.
sounds like a very scary assignment to check out for Spooky Month.
Spoopy.
Indeed.
Very quick and abridged. Anyways, yeah, you're welcome.
I think it's game time.
Yay!
Game time.
I'm calling this game Rewrite. Spooky Edition. So, this week I've listed 10 films that are very well known spooky season Halloween movies. I'm going to quickly read off a quick synopsis of the film, and then I want you guys to rewrite it as a funnier film or however you feel it should be rewritten. Are you ready?
Do you want to go
I'm
in
so
like
fucking
intro
ready.
order?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
works.
so Jay, you read yours and then read your rewrite, and then I'll go, and then Joe will go.
Oh, I didn't even
Perfect.
rewrite mine. I was just making you guys rewrite it. Why didn't I think about that?
Well then perfect. Then
You didn't
I'll do
rewrite 'em?
mine. and
I don't know
then-
why I didn't think about that from my perspective.
Okay, well then this is a game where we can score points now because you're not involved. So you get to pick which one you like better.
Yeah, okay, that works. Wow. I don't know why I didn't do that.
Suddenly it's competitive, beardos.
So the game's competitive. So I'm going to vote on who wrote it better.
Oh. Okay, so then we're going to alternate who goes first because I feel like that's a catch-22.
Okay, ready?
I suddenly have less faith in my answers, but let's do it.
I'm ready.
The first film is Halloween. Also, I wrote down some taglines. A couple of them didn't have them, but this one was The Night He Came Back.
Mm-hmm.
And Halloween is about, on a cold Halloween night in 1963, 6-year-old Michael Myers brutally murdered his 17-year-old sister, Judith. He was sentenced and locked away for 15 years, but on October 30th, 1978, while being transferred for a court date, a 20-year-old Michael Myers steals a car and escapes Smith's Grove. He returns to his quiet hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, where he looks for his next victims while being tracked by Dr. Loomis to stop the carnage. Anthony, what did you rewrite?
I want you to know I thought we were all three going to be doing this, so my
I'm
very
sorry.
first answer is a joke answer. So I'm going to give you my joke answer first, then I'll give you my real one. My joke answer said, Laurie Strode gets a gun. Most of these rewrites involve guns. Anyways, no, my real one
About
was...
time.
So you remember the dog that Michael kills before killing Laurie's friend, the other babysitter?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So here's what I'm proposing. The dog kills Michael. That's it. The dog is the hero. It's also immortal now for some reason, and the film franchise is about the dog killing serial killers.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm not against it, because I hate when
Yeah.
dogs die.
Yeah. Yep.
Joe, what'd you rewrite?
Okay, so for Halloween, I wrote, a killer twink barback has escaped the gay bar and returns to his hometown to murder the babysitters who laughed at him during his dance routines when he was a little boy. He's escaped,
pretty good.
he's back, and now he's here to slay.
Joe wins that one.
For sure. For sure he wins that
And I just imagine, like, he walks into a house and, like, Beyonce's playing and he's like, oh, the single ladies, stab, stab, stab.
one.
Stab, 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 stab.
Or he's, like, swiping to Britney Spears. He's like, swoosh, 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 swoosh. Great job, Joe.
He's got somebody like on a knife and he goes... He's doing the hand thing.
Joe, what a
Anyways.
fantastic job. Proud of you on that one. Great job.
Yeah, great job.
I'll
That's
have you
pretty
know
good.
that I wrote all of these in the 30 minutes before we started.
Look at you. I didn't write any.
I didn't know this was going to be competitive. I would have made it more gay.
You still have an opportunity to change it right off the bat. But I should have broke that down. In my head it made sense, and I didn't really describe that well. Anyways, the next film is Beetlejuice, which that tagline was say it once, say it twice, but we dare you to say it 3 times. And the summary on this one is Adam and Barbara are a normal couple who happen to
No,
be
they're not.
dead. They have their given precious time to decorate their house and make it their own, but unfortunately, a new family is moving in, and not quietly. Adam and Barbara try to scare them out, but end up becoming the main attraction to the money-making family. They call upon Beetlejuice to help, but Beetlejuice has more in mind than just helping. Joe, what did you rewrite?
A young, non-binary teen and their parents have moved to town. Now, their parents, who have become the new presidents of the HOA, have to deal with a squatter couple who unknowingly enlist the help of a civil rights public defender named Beetlejuice, who helps them win their legal battle to stay in the house, enforces strict use of the correct pronouns, and abolishes all rules regarding fences and how close they can be to a stop sign at the corner.
That is a specific call out for 2 of our beardos. So you're welcome.
Good job.
You need to call Beetlejuice, guys.
Apparently so.
3 times. Don't forget.
Anthony, what was yours?
So Beetlejuice is now true horror. The movie is set in 2024, where Beetlejuice has just been elected president, although he is played by Donald Trump. Unfortunately, no matter how hard you try to get rid of him, he shows back up because American media can't seem to keep his name out of their fucking mouths.
Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. And then he just appears and he goes, China.
China.
We're going to build a wall.
I just thought, as far as character similarities were concerned, they align pretty well.
It's annoying because Joe's is good, but I can actually picture yours better, and I hate that because I don't want to, but it's true.
Yeah.
Donald Trump does live in the news, and it makes it a real horror film.
It does, yeah.
So I think this one goes to Anthony for me. Great job,
Thank
Joe.
you.
That's
Thank
still
you.
a good pick.
Joe, you win comedy, I win realism.
Yeah.
That's how it always works.
And I don't normally go
Basically
for
how our
realism.
relationship works.
It's true. That is exactly true.
Number 3, Poltergeist. This is actually one of my favorite films for some weird reason. Tagline. From a dimension beyond the living, a terror to scare you to death. It is a young family are visited by ghosts in their home. At first, the ghosts appear friendly, moving objects around the house to the amusement of everyone. Then they turn nasty and start to terrorize the family before they kidnap the youngest daughter. Anthony, how did you rewrite Poltergeist?
Everything is the same, except the family accepts that Carol Ann is gone forever. Did you see the... I mean, you guys saw the ghost anus, right? Like, I think that's more realistic. Like, they're just like, oh, she's just gone.
That's
so
it.
Everyone else
She's in the butt.
escapes. Yeah, everyone else escapes. Carol Ann is ghost food. Also, Zelda Rubinstein voices everybody.
Carol Ann.
That's right.
Carol
That's
Ann.
it. They're here.
They're here. Are we gonna sell the next group? Oh, no.
That's
What's
it.
that line where he's up there and he's like, You didn't move the graves. You moved the stones, but not the graves.
That's right. That's it. Yep. That's the whole thing. Think about the entire movie from beginning to end. Every voice is Zelda Rubinstein. But at the end, they give up on Carol Ann. They say, no, that's over.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I
Give
hate
her
that you
back
did
to
that.
God. Yeah, you're welcome.
Joe, how'd you rewrite that?
I thought about just saying HOA is bad, the end. But, so I set my remake in 2008. And I said, all hell breaks loose in a brand new Circuit City when spirits wreak havoc on the store, employees, and even the brand new stock of DVD players. The young assistant manager and the new cashier he has taken a liking to must attempt to cleanse the property of the desecrated spirits of the Radio Shack employees who are buried alive below the new strip mall. Can they rescue Marge from customer service after she was sucked into a 500-pound flat screen? The race against the spirits is on.
Before you jump into this, Joe, have you ever read Horror Store by Grady Hendrix?
I have it. I just haven't read it.
This sounds like plagiarism.
The one about IKEA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I have it. I just
Yeah.
haven't read it yet.
Okay. Anyways, that's so close to what you're talking about. Okay, go ahead, Jay.
Okay, so Joe, damn it, I really liked yours. But Anthony
Do
won me
not
with-
tell me it's because of the fucking Zelda Rubinstein thing.
Yes, it's
God fucking damn it. I hate both of you so much right now.
because I don't know why that just made me go, oh, that's a great film. I would watch that.
Yeah, obviously. Who wouldn't?
You moved the stones, but not the graves.
Oh
Okay. Number 4, the Amityville Horror. Tagline, for God's sakes, get out! Based on a true story, the Amityville Horror is about a large house on the coast of Long Island where newlyweds George and Kathy Lutz and their 3 children move into the house that they hope will be their dream house, which ends up in terror. Despite full disclosure by the real estate agent of the house's history, George and Kathy buy the house. George says, houses don't have memories, but they turn to their family priest, Father Delaney, who believes the house is haunted and performs an exorcism on the house. But satanic forces in the house causes him to become blind and makes him very sick. With the help of another priest, Father Bolin, and a police detective, George and Kathy face the fears of the house, but not knowing the forces are planning to possess George and then the children. Joe, how did you rewrite this film?
It's the same movie, but everything's dubbed over with Zelda Rubin's team. The end.
Joe won!
Okay.
I don't know.
so-
Give me a moment. You should hear mine.
A millennial couple have stumbled upon the deal of a lifetime, finding a 3-story home on the water with an in-ground pool and no HOA to beat at an unbelievable price. They have been warned that the last family there was brutally murdered in their sleep, but assure the realtor that if they knew of a house this cheap with no interest, they'd take a shotgun to the face too. They learn to live with the spirit who possesses the father, once again citing unbelievable mortgage payments and interest. They simply just lock him in the boathouse and put a bag over his head, only keeping him around when it's time to chop firewood shirtless. I mean, at this price, haunt away, daddy.
I feel like all of your answers have been HOA and like property value based, and I'm here for it. I understand
Because it's
this.
scary.
Yeah.
It's a true haunting.
Yeah.
So my rewrite is specifically the 2008 one with Ryan Reynolds, and everything is exactly the same, except Ryan Reynolds is naked.
Okay. Great job, Anthony. Joe's going to win this one for me.
That's
Oh, phew.
bullshit. I know you want to watch my version more.
I mean, I'd watch yours in segments until I was done, and then I would just keep... Joe's I'll at least watch all the way through.
You know on porn, on modern touchscreen phones, where you can take the little progress bar and go back and forth or go to the end whenever you want to see a certain section?
Yeah,
There you go.
I know.
Yeah,
Yep,
your
I get
scene.
it.
You're
I get it.
you're gonna have a lot of scenes that I'm just like skipping through. Joe's I'll at least finish. The film.
Twice.
You know what?
Once? Wait, you'll only finish once per each one. Actually, you'll finish mine more than once.
Not all the way through though.
It doesn't matter. You'll
But this
finish
is
more
going
than once.
well because you both are tied. So I'm proud of you.
Whatever. Anyways.
Number 5, The Shining. It's an iconic terror from the number 1 best-selling writer. They started doing those taglines, and I was like, I don't care about these. Haunted by a persistent writer's block, the aspiring author and recovering alcoholic Jack Torrance drags his wife Wendy and his gifted son Danny up to snow-capped Colorado's secluded Overlook Hotel after taking up a job as an off-season caretaker. As the cavernous hotel shuts down for the season, the manager gives Jack a grand tour, and the facility chef, the aging Mr. Holleran, has a fascinating chat with Danny about a rare psychic gift called The Shining, making sure to warn him about the hotel's abandoned rooms, and in particular, the off-limits room 237. However, instead of overcoming the dismal creative rut, little by little, Jack starts losing his mind, trapped in an unforgiving environment of seemingly endless snowstorms and a gargantuan silent prison riddled with strange occurrences and eerie visions. Now the incessant voice inside Jack's head demands sacrifice. Is Jack capable of murder? This one's Anthony. Anthony first. You did it the same, except Zelda was cutting through the door.
No. Well, that would have been okay.
Danny.
However, I don't exactly know where to start with this. This is one that I had trouble with. Don't make this movie. Don't make it. That's my rewrite. Delete it. Get rid of it. Toss it into the fucking flames. Don't do it. The only way you should make this movie is if you send Mike Flanagan back in time to make the movie in 1980 to fix Stanley Kubrick's bullshit idiocy. Otherwise, don't do it. Movie deleted. Gone. It's stupid. This movie is awful. It's a poor representation of the book. It doesn't need to be rewritten. The rewrite is erase it from everyone's brains.
Joe, I need you to know it's going really well for you on this one.
I don't care. This movie sucks.
How funny would it be if he still won?
This is personal for me.
Okay, so I wrote, a young blog comments editor and his family take a trip to Latham, Kansas to take on the task of upkeeping a La Quinta in its off-season. However, the young wife tires of the boredom as all blog comments and no play makes husband a boring flake. So, she takes matters, and the plug for the router, into her own hands, leaving her husband to drown outside in the discarded pet hair maze while looking for the Ethernet cable, as she and her son escape to safety. In case you guys didn't know, I said pet hair maze because La Quintas are known for being pet-friendly.
Yeah.
Joe won.
Well, I mean, Jay, you can be wrong. And in fact, you are. This movie is stupid.
Of course it's stupid. That's the way I wrote it.
Not your movie. Your movie is better than Stanley Kubrick's. Stanley Kubrick's movie is fucking dumb.
I just chose The Shining because it's well known, you bitch.
I know. I'm just letting you know it's a terrible movie.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your efforts. Let's move on to number 6.
Anyhow,
Scream, a new thriller from Wes Craven. A year after her mother's death, Sidney Prescott and her friends started experiencing some strange phone calls. They later learned the calls were coming from a crazed serial killer in a white-faced mask and a large black robe, looking for revenge. His phone calls usually consist of many questions, the main one being, what's your favorite scary movie, along with scary movie trivia, ending with bloody pieces of innocent lives scattered around the small town of Woodsboro. Joe, what's your rewrite?
A young group of teens undergoes a living nightmare as a mysterious masked killer terrorizes their small town with offers for free trials of Sirius satellite radio, pre-approved credit cards, and anti-aging cream since they all look to be in their late 20s for some reason.
Oh my god.
It's a race against time as they fight to find out who is behind these scam calls, and a race to find the car that they don't even have an extended warranty for in the first place.
It's a real horror film. Anthony, what was your rewrite?
oh, so absolute gender role reversal. Sydney and Gail, co-killers. That's right. They're the killers now.
Nice.
Sydney, super basic. She wants revenge. She found out that Stu and Billy killed her mom, and she just wants to kill them. That's all she wants. She wants them dead. They've caused her pain. However, Gail, she wants those sweet, sweet book deals. She wants the rights. She wants the story. And that's the rewrite. Gender role reversal, killing the males.
On Lifetime.
Right.
This one's tough. Because Joe's was funny, but Anthony's is like really interesting. I'm interested in that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Anthony's just because like I'm legit interested in that one.
Yeah. I
Mine's on
wanna
the
watch that.
CW. Anthony's is on Lifetime.
So
What? Mine is on like the remake. Mine is the remake of the film.
I really want to watch them both though. So if that helps you, Joe, feel better.
So maybe a point for both?
You know
Don't
what?
fucking do that. Mm-mm. Oh, whatever. I mean, I guess it's your game. Whatever.
I'll fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Just because Anthony told me not to.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get all aggressive.
Don't
I
you
get competitive.
fucking yell at me
I know.
ever again. You know what?
No,
I'm
I
taking away
know.
the next one.
Okay, it's fine.
Because I know how much you're going to love to rewrite The Craft. Welcome to the witching hour. In Los Angeles, the teenager Sarah has just arrived from San Francisco with her father, Mr. Bailey, and her stepmother to live in an old house. When she goes to the Catholic high school, she's not well received by her schoolmates and has a crush on the football player Chris Hooker. He lures her and tells lies and gossips about their relationship. Soon, the outcasts, who are known as witches, invite Sarah to join them. Nancy lives with her drunken mother and her mom's boyfriend she hates. Bonnie has awful burn scars on her back. Rochelle hates the racist girl, Laura Lizzie, who despises Rochelle's color and her hair. Sarah does not know that she is a powerful witch, but when they bond and form their coven, they become powerful and cast spells on their enemies. When Sarah feels that something is wrong with her friend, she meets the clairvoyant Lirio? Anthony, is that how it's pronounced?
Lirio. You're right.
Okay. Who tells her that the spells may return 3 times stronger. Anthony? Anthony.
Yes.
How did you rewrite that?
So I didn't. The movie is actually already perfect.
That's fair.
So we're going to keep it just the same. We're going to give the only difference is we were going to give everyone huge fucking tits and an absolutely dump truck ass.
Like
And we're
those
also-
anime drawings.
Yeah, absolutely that. And we're going to respect Rachel True on the set. And that's it. That's the difference.
Respect.
Yeah.
I almost called mine the reshoots just as like a throwback joke, but I didn't do it.
This time everyone has their real hair.
Oh, God.
All right. So I wrote, a mysterious new kid in town is welcomed by the 3 outcasts in school once it is discovered that all 4 of them have unique talents. Telekinesis, shape-shifting, and even mind control are finally brought together in harmony when they realize that the true power of this newcomer, Meg, who has the super incredible ability to grow her fingernails. However, after some mishaps, Meg must fight her way to safety as the others become drunk with power. Meg finally summons the guardians of the watchtowers of Quahog, and with all of her might, triumphs over the others and becomes the true supreme once and for all.
I hate it. And Joe wins.
Of course he does. He didn't even write that. He just stole it.
Well, isn't that what filmmaking is?
I guess it is.
But, Anthony, I want you to know that I'd also watch yours too.
Yeah.
I'm not
So
as
that points
excited
for
about
both?
it because I'd rewatch it, but I do like the idea of just rewatching it with big tits and ass. Just
It's fine.
because it'd be
I
funny.
get it. I should have gone more sarcastic with my answers.
You know I'm dumb and love stupid things.
No, I know this is I rarely hit the mark on these.
If you would have been like, but instead of Nancy, her name was Meg, I'd have been like, "Rah." No, I'm kidding.
It's fine.
We didn't
I've
know
got-
this was for points until a few minutes ago.
Don't worry,
Disclaimer.
I
fine.
didn't either. I just was going as I go. You know, I don't know what I'm doing here. We've just been doing this for a year and a half. that's all.
Anyhow.
Number 8, Ghost Ship. Haha, spelled SEA, evil. After discovering a passenger ship missing since 1962, floating adrift on the Bering Sea, salvagers claim the vessel as their own. Once they begin towing the ghost ship towards harbor, a series of bizarre occurrences happen and the group become trapped inside the ship, which they soon learn is inhabited by a demonic creature. Joe.
Same exact story and characters, but it's aboard the Carnival Triumph in 2013. Looks like they're shit out of luck. There's a rewrite and a tagline for you. That's just a bonus. For free.
Anthony.
So the movie has changed. It is literally just the ship luring people onto it with the promise of lost treasure. You know, like the heart of the ocean, the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of the Covenant, the love of your parents, you know, whatever. And then it proceeds to cut everyone in half with the most obscene amount of taut wires breaking that you have ever seen outside of the original Ghost Ship. And probably also
two?
Final Destination. I didn't count the taut wires in Final Destination, but I'm sure we'll do at least 10 more. So every fucking death scene, taut wire, cut in half. They get on the ship, taut wire, cut in half. Every person who gets on that ship, taut wire, cut in half. That's the movie. That's it.
It's an hour and 45 minutes of just slicing and dicing. Chop, chop,
That's
chop.
it. Now you get it. Absolutely.
God damn, guys. I'm just going to do both again because I liked them both.
Yay! Also, I will also say, Jay, that I'm glad you picked Ghost Ship because it's a sleeper hit and it gets forgotten about, and I actually thought it was a pretty interesting movie.
It's okay.
It's okay.
The story is fun.
forgotten a lot.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I definitely like the little wire scene. I don't know why that one's so interesting to me.
Everybody loves that.
That's
the
the
whole thing.
common scene known there.
Yeah.
All right. We're almost done. Number 9, The Birds. Melanie Daniels is a modern rich socialite, part of the jet set who always gets what she wants. When lawyer Mitch Brenner sees her in a pet shop, he plays something of a practical joke on her, and she decides to return the favor. She drives about an hour north of San Francisco to Bodega Bay, where Mitch spends the weekends with his mother Lydia and younger sister Kathy. Soon after her arrival, however, the birds in the area begin to act strange. A seagull attacks Melanie as she's crossing the bay, and then Lydia finds her neighbor dead, obviously the victim of a bird attack. Soon, birds in the hundreds and thousands are attacking anyone they find out the doors. There is no explanation as to why this might be happening, and the birds continue their vicious attacks. Survival becomes priority. Anthony, what was your rewrite?
So what we do instead is we have Tippi Hedren trap Alfred Hitchcock inside of the phone booth where she releases real birds that are like super pissed at the patriarchy.
Mm.
And she just films it for a few hours. And that's it. And then she lets whatever happen after she's done filming. Like, whatever
Like
happens.
inside the booth?
Oh, I mean, at the end, yeah, she can let him inside the booth.
So it's like the $1 Million Sticky from Matilda, but with birds?
Right, exactly.
I love it.
And I was going to say this was the OG film, The Phone Booth.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, she just lets those real fucking birds kill Alfred Hitchcock instead of ruining her career.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Joe, what was yours?
I went kind of simple. I just wrote, all humanity knows about birds comes into question once they begin delivering Amazon packages. Are they drones after all?
Are birds real? Or birds are not real, that's what it is. Sorry. Love it. Giving this to Anthony, because it's just a great concept.
My favorite thing about the birds is how, she decides to return the favor of a prank by driving an hour out of her way, and then the movie just completely shifts into fifth gear, and it's like, okay, now the birds are fucking pissed. And that's gonna happen.
Look at your
now.
practical joke. You're gonna die. All right. Last film, and I'm excited for this one. House of Wax. Hunt, murdered, displayed. 6 friends are on their way to a football game. They decide to camp out for the night and continue driving the next day. But the next day, the friends find that they're having car troubles. So 2 of the friends accept a stranger's ride into a small town named Ambrose. The main attraction in Ambrose is the House of Wax. Wax House.
Wax
something
House.
is not right in this town. The wax figures are so realistic and the whole town is deserted, except for 2 murderous twin brothers. The 6 friends must fight to survive and escape from being the next exhibits in the House of Wax. Joe, what was your rewrite?
So for House of Wax, I wrote same exact story, characters, deaths, and outcome, including Paris Hilton, but it's set in a Yankee Candle store.
Anthony.
Every character is now played by Paris Hilton.
I knew it!
They all
I
die.
knew it too.
It's now called Wax House.
My sister went to a screening of House of Wax, and the entire theater cheered when Paris Hilton died.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, Anthony's winning that one because that's exactly what I wanted. Sorry, that one I expected.
Yep.
But ironically, with the scoring system that I made up as we went, you guys tied. So you're both winners.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
Good for us.
Yeah. You guys are equally funny.
That's fantastic because
I'm
usually
really-
Joe is much funnier than me.
No, the Paris Hilton finale was great. Just all Paris Hiltons.
I hate it. I hate it so much imagining it, but
Anyways, Beardos.
oh my god! I just
think
imagine her finger getting cut off.
Oh my god! I always think of her like getting a pipe drove through her face, like
She's
the
always
pipe that
getting
gets
that pipe.
driven through my face. Anyways.
Through that spooky glory
Oh
hole.
my god. Well, Beardos, it's time for us to start bounding into thick fogs and out of focus areas. But you can reach us at 405-999-2242.
And Beardos, all of these spooky tales have us so startled, so we need to get back out to aisle 4 stat. If you would like to help us out, go and subscribe to our podcast so you can get reminders every Sunday when we release a new episode. We also post frequent updates on all of our social medias for any additional sundries that we may add to the market.
And don't forget to rate us 5 stars and leave us a review. We would love to hear from you, and those ratings are what get us found by more people. We would be honored if you could help us grow by just telling each one of your friends to listen to the podcast.
I also heard that you'll save yourself from the scary lady that's going to attack your car on a bridge if you check our websites and our social media. So go to beardsandsundries.com and follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and our TikTok and Threads, which I forget to access all the time. And please comment, make your suggestions. We want to hear from you. Email us at beardsandsundries@gmail.com.
So, from all of us here at the Beards and Sundries Market, make sure to love yourself.
Because we have loved you since the dawn of time.
Since 1867 when I was decapitated.
Oh, since
you were born,
1694,
Jay.
my governess drowned me in a well.
Since 1202 when I died with the plague. Bye.
Bird.